So our next speaker is Annie Gouilleux, who is French.
Yes.
See, I'm struggling to pronounce
No,
your
it's all
surname.
right. No, it's all right. Gouilleux. It's all right. It's
Oh, that's so
difficult.
difficult. Yeah. So Annie Goulieu is 77 years old. She lives on her own in Lyon, in France. She's a retired English teacher turned translator, and now she's come home to the radical feminist movement, or at least that's how it feels. And thank you so much, Annie, because you've been starting getting really involved in WDI, and so we wanted you sort of said you would come on and tell us why you signed the declaration, and then maybe tell us a bit about what's going on in France. So, why did you
Okay.
sign, and what's happening in France, Annie?
Well, I thought I was going to tell you
Oh,
first
Annie,
how
is
I
it
got
possible to
there.
move your screen a little bit so we can see more of you? Yeah, or stand. Yeah, that's perfect. That's better because it's nice for
Like that,
everyone to see
yeah.
you well. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I thought it would be better if I started by telling you how I came.
Yeah.
That short, briefly, I mean,
Yeah.
because unlike most of you, I've spent most of my life outside the radical feminist movement. And I'm sorry for it because I missed so much. I'm sorry for myself, actually, because you didn't miss anything, but I did. And I am, when I retired in 2008 from my teaching job, I had a once in a lifetime fit of megalomania, and I decided to retranslate a book called The Myth of the Machine by Lewis Mumford, who was an American. Well, it's difficult to put him in a slot really because he was trans. He had lots of interest, historian, sociologist, everything. And The Myth of the Machine is a study, it's 2 volumes, and it's a study of of human development alongside techniques and then alongside technologies, and it's a very pessimistic criticism of industrial society. So when I finished that, well, the first volume of my translation has been published, but the second one is still being reread and it's dragging on. Anyway, uh, after that, I started writing in the anti-industrial movement in France. And I worked with a small publisher called La Lenteur, which means slow, and that's how I met Maria Mies's work, which takes me to and they asked me to translate her book, the Subsistence Perspective by Maria Mies and Veronica Benholt Thompson. And when I discover an author I like, I read all their books usually. So I read all of Maria Mies's books, and this is how I rediscovered feminism, really. And they asked me to have a look at Gina Correa's The Mother Machine, which I liked very much. And I did a long paper. It's not really a critical paper. It's it's meant to transmit the author's main thoughts, important things in the books to an audience, so to readers who won't be reading the book. So I translate parts of it, but not too much, because otherwise I have to ask for rights. So you can't translate the book like that. And and I sort of paraphrase or resume the main ideas. So it's not critical work. I only do that with books I like or I think should be known. So they didn't want to publish my paper, basically because she talks about sex class. and that they refused absolutely. They're mostly blokes in that movement, and even the
Who's they? Sorry, you probably told us.
alors,
Who's they?
la lenteur and the industrial movement thing.
So you were
They,
getting too feminist. You were becoming too feminist.
well, I had to break up with them because, and I think I've lost a few pounds in there, but never mind. So I thought that this thing, sex class, was very important, and for me it was new, but it was important. So I said, no, no. If you don't want to publish that, I'll find somewhere on the web. And so now I publish these papers I do on a friendly website that's called lesruminants.com. If you and
Put it
I
in the
rumin
chat. I'll put it in the chat because you
yeah,
gave it to me. Yeah.
okay. And well, Anna Minsky is an archaeologist too, and she's got a lot of other interesting things on her website as well. So far, I've done Gina Korea, Mary Daly's Gin Ecology, Janice Raymond's A Passion for Friend. I've just finished. It'll be going up in a moment. Francine Sporenda's La Mystification Patriarcale, part of it. And one of your texts, Joe, um, Joe Brew's Easy Way to Give Up Patriarchy, which I found very useful, and it was funny too, so I liked it. And now I'm going to reread all Sheila Jeffrey's books and read the ones I haven't read, do try to do something about all these books. And in the meantime, while I'm rereading, I'm translating her text on political economy that she's published on her website.
Yeah, that's
And
fantastic.
I found very interesting. So that's all. And in the meantime, now that's sorry talking about myself,
No,
but
it's really interesting, and that's getting a load of different ideas into the French language.
yes,
So
and
it'll be very
you know
helpful. And you're in touch with
what?
WDI France, aren't you?
Oh
So
yes, I did all.
they'll know about all that. Yeah.
My first paper actually was Aurora Linnea's Man Against Being, which I found really excellent. And that was the first one Anna published. And now I'm also working with the WDI France. I managed to, and um, we are specifically working on a law that the LFI, the extreme left party wants to push through parliament. I don't know if it's going to be examined or anything because there's quite a lot of problems, so many problems
And
in
is that quite a pro-trans
it's a
policy that
well,
the
they are
extreme left want?
pro-trans.
Yeah.
I mean, they've swallowed the ideology hook, line, and sinker, and they want to erase the mention male, female from the identity papers, from identity cards. I mean, and their argument is so ridiculous. They say that it's because you can see female on an identity card that women are discriminated against, which is
Yes.
so. So we we're going to have a go at them. I mean, make them look ridiculous on social media. I'm not going to do this because I'm hopeless on social media, but we wrote a letter which we have to send to the oh, I forgot. Sorry, to our parliament,
Yes.
representative
And
in
I mean
parliament.
I think it
Uh,
seems to be difficult in France because there is this
mm,
history of postmodernism, and the sort of
mm,
political philosophy
yeah.
often has been like Foucault and uh
Oh yes.
paedophile apologists, and and so it's a sort of difficult environment to be working in. But
Mm,
there's you, and then there's fantastic the ICAMs with Marie Joseph de Villers. They've always been
yes.
doing
Yeah.
brilliant work
Mm,
on surrogacy,
mm,
and WDI and New Femme, and
mm.
this, yeah.
And they've done. Yeah, they've got quite nice podcasts about a lot of women, which they do what about what I'm doing right now with you, but in French on the podcast. And then they went. they were there at the Mazan trial. You know, this woman
Yes.
who was
Yeah.
raped. I
Yeah.
mean, there were 70 guys raping her,
Yeah.
and she was being filmed by her husband, and it's a terrible story.
Yeah.
And but we don't seem to have learned anything from it in France, because now they, in the new law about against rape, they're going to put consent, and I think that's ridiculous, because how can you prove you didn't consent? It will
Yeah.
go on being word against word, you know, your word against mine. Anyway, and there's not much. People are not really concerned about transgenderism in France. You know, generally.
Mm. And the
It
terrible
was
thing, I guess, is I mean, is the far right, so Marine Le Pen, they're like other far right organizations, they're actually some of the people who believe you can't change sex. Is that correct? Or is
well,
even the French
they
far
don't.
right pro-trans?
I think they just, you know, don't avoid talking about it. But they've got some gay men now amongst the prominent people, the far right.
Mm,
So now they can't look homophobic,
mm,
but they don't say anything about the rest of it. And if there are lesbians among them, we don't know it. I mean,
mm,
they haven't come out, you know, so I don't know. And no, it's the far left and the Greens. They've both this ideology,
mm.
really. And it is worrying because the European policies, I think, are pushing for, you know, self
Yeah. Yeah.
declaration and all this.
Well, Annie, I think I might get the other speakers on if it's okay. And
Yeah,
then
it's all
is that
right. I'm
and
finished.
then
No, I'm finished.
yeah,
But
what will
I just one last thing I want
yeah,
to
go on.
say,
Yeah,
that I think the just my conclusion, that the WDI, it's both a place of learning for me and a place of action, and I think it links, you know, theory and practice, which is very good. That's it. I'm finished.
fantastic. I
Thank you.
totally agree. Well, it's fantastic that you're around and involved. Um, so yeah, welcome. I mean, you've been active for months now, but it is really wonderful and it's lovely to hear that you feel you've come home. So
Yeah,
welcome
I
home.
do.